Officer Brian Sicknick. He died from injuries after being struck in the head by a fire extinguisher during the storming of the Capitol.
Officer Sicknick, who was, killed, murdered there by the mob.
The murder of Officer Brian Sicknick by Trump supporters.
These Republicans, they really don't care what the facts are. They don't care about the cop killers.
Cop killers.
Cop killers. Cop killers.
Trump cop killers.
Cop killers.
Trump cop killers.
Cop killers.
Cop killers.
Trump cop killers. Struck them dead.
You know, they have extreme desires for murder and overthrow of the government. And if they had gotten in there and gotten their hands on a congressman or senator, they would have slit their throats. They would have hung them. They would have shot them. They would have beat them to death.
One of the top priorities for prosecutors is the hunt for cop killers, the people responsible for the murder of U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick.
And I think you pointed this out earlier, Chris. This is the scene of the crime where he is laying in honor right now, and the scene of the crime where they will be voting on impeachment.
The MAGA mob attacked Officer Brian Sicknick, and he died.
Officer Sicknick is only the fourth Capitol Police officer to be killed in the line of duty since the force was actually founded.
The flags at the U.S. Capitol are at half-staff this morning for the police officer Brian Sicknick, who was murdered this week. But they are not at half-staff at the White House. Perhaps because Officer Sicknick was the enemy of the terrorist mob, and the mob loves Trump.
All this as America is mourning the loss of 42-year-old Capitol Police officer and veteran Brian Sicknick, killed as a result of Wednesday's chaos. Officials investigating reports that he was attacked with a fire extinguisher.
Officer Sicknick was the one officer who was beaten to death.
Brian Sicknick, who passed away on Wednesday, beaten, murdered here at the hands of these individuals, these insurrectionists here.
There are officers like Brian Sicknick who died actually trying to keep people safe, including people like you.
No information about the death of Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who died one day after responding to the January 6th riot. Now, the chief medical examiner says that Officer Sicknick suffered 2 strokes and died of natural causes.
There are channels in which lies are told, and there are channels in which facts are told, and people who want the lies, they don't come here. They go to a different channel.